Out her bucking.
Can I smoke this and you not pick it up, or what? Or like you cool with me smoking my vape?
So I say if it's weed, just blow it out of Jason's face. I don't give a fuck if he's smoking here.
Oh
That's okay.
no!
Okay.
I didn't even know if I could bring some bud, or else I would have rolled one.
Oh.
No, I don't give a shit.
Well, I'm routinely hitting the pen on camera. I don't give a fuck. It's Delta 8 though. Wink, wink.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Delta 8.
Since we're in a state where the governor doesn't respect voters' rights.
Yep.
Definitely.
Take you boys up in this.
There's a chick downtown that my dad knows.
Mm-hmm.
She walks by us every day because they work downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And she's running for it now, so...
Where do you work at?
Main Street Square down.
Oh, okay.
Downtown
Cool.
Rapid City, yeah. It's an awesome job. I love
Hell
that
yeah.
job.
Hell yeah.
I can't complain when it was doing concrete before that. So
Mhm.
it kind of stole me from it.
Hell yeah.
The concrete's rough work.
It is.
It is, man. Especially when you want to, like, you want to do nothing, you got to do more. Because you can't be the foreman without fucking busting your ass for the boss.
Yep.
So...
All right, it
Knowing
is
what you're
up
doing.
here, guys. We will get boosting and bopping. Told everybody in the Hooligans Facebook group to
Jump
pop on in. Yeah, because they were already talking football this morning. I'm like, well, if you boys want to, come in the comment section, what up? Everything should be pretty decent here so far. So, if you were sent to purgatory, would you rather be sent to purgatory as a Jaguars owner or the Lions owner?
Jaguars.
It's a better climate, at least.
Why the fuck would I want to live in Detroit?
Ooh, Tyler, jumping on in. What is up, Niner Nation?
That's not what-
Representing. I gave him the invite, but he didn't see it until we were right about to go live. So, what is up?
What up, Tyler?
What up, Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler's the dude. He's our other Niners fan in our fantasy football group.
I got us.
We got 4 people rolling here so far. If you're noticing the new face on the screen here, it's gonna be my boy Chris. So,
What's up, Sig?
What up?
yeah, we're repping. We had to have one fishing elephant fanboy this week, and since Lane is up in Deadwood, being a bitch,
Yep.
we had to have one person who's still in the playoffs. So Jason and I are firmly planted on the couch, enjoying our coffees.
Yes, it's great. It's great. Just couch of shame.
Yeah, I know all 3 regular viewers missed us. So
Yes.
last week when I was in Cincy.
Oh, man, what a weekend so far. What a wild card weekend. What a start to divisional rounds. This is playoffs are just crazy this year, man. It's nuts. Let's take a look. I was going to bring up the wild card because I'm so embroiled in divisional round already, and my mind's already spacing what happened wild card weekend. So I'm bringing that.
I was at the only game that mattered. Wild card weekend was honestly kind of a dud.
Yeah.
Because you had, the Bills absolutely piss-smacking
Yes.
the Patriots. So bad that, they were getting fucked so bad, Buffalo was like, here's some help.
I feel like everybody's glossing over the fact that the Bills had the first and only perfect NFL game in history. Nobody's talking about this. They did not have a single third down all game long. Did you guys know that?
No, I didn't.
No, it was crazy.
Yeah,
the
it
only
was
time
a
they ever ended a
perfect
drive
NFL
without
game.
a score
Huh.
was with
He
the
threw
last
perfect
last
too?
drive.
Yeah. It was
Wow.
just, he didn't throw perfect. They had
okay.
second downs, but every drive they had resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah.
There was never even a third down for the Bills. They didn't have to, they never punted, they never kicked a field goal. It was just all touchdowns all game. They fucking
Maybe
shit
people thought it was just
on the
too
Patriots.
easy, though.
No, I don't know. Maybe. But, yeah, just a lot of blood. I think Bengals, Raiders, Cowboys, Niners, those were good matchups. Other than that, it was just embarrassing.
Well, the Niners mostly had that game intact the entire time, I think.
Yeah.
The Cowboys coming back. Also, Homeboy getting busted by his girl cheating was hilarious. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. What happened
So, so the fuckboy in the man bun. So his girl or ex-girlfriend came out and was like, "Yo, this is the type of shit he pull all the time." I guess he was at the game with his side chick.
Okay, well, Cole, back up. What? I don't have no idea what you're talking about.
So you haven't seen the meme yet? Oh
No.
God, let's look it up. Cowboy fan meme. I'm gonna throw it up on screen here. Hold on. Cowboy fan crying meme. Yeah, look it up first. Because he's holding his girlfriend.
Oh, was it that one?
Let's take a look.
I know which one you're talking about.
It's like the guy who looks like he has like fish lips. I'm telling you, like ultimate fuckboy looking. Oh, here it is. Yes. Okay, let's save this. Just gonna call it fuckboy. And we'll throw it up here
Fuckboy.
on the screen.
You see them outside of the stadium trying to fight the Niner
So
fans?
right here, guys.
Oh, this guy. Yep.
Yep, this guy right here.
Okay.
Yep, this guy. So this guy right here. Apparently, this is his side chick.
Oh no.
So yeah, way to catch 2 L's in one day, homie. Like, man,
You know what it was?
that just shows don't ever cheat.
His
Don't be a
side
bitch.
chick was like, I got you 2 Cowboy tickets to the game, and he had to leave his chick at home so
Oh
he
my
could make the
Yeah,
game.
apparently he was texting his other girl the entire time. Like, no, it's just a God's weekend, babe. Like, we're
Yeah.
going to the game with the boys.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, babe, my best friend got me tickets.
Right?
Horrible.
What a fucking loser.
I mean, hey now. That's literally what happened to me, and I did go with my best friend, okay? So, like, let's not be
No,
getting
I mean, he
motherfuckers in
just
trouble
he
here.
looks like a fuckboy. He
Yeah,
looks
I'm
like
just-
he looks like he rolled off the set of Jersey Shore
Yeah.
Oh,
and
hands
ended
down.
up in Dallas.
He
Like,
looks like
Yeah,
he
tell
looks
me
like
you
he
watched
was
one
an
show when you
MMA
were
fighter.
15 and let it impact your whole personality.
oh my god.
Just look at this dude.
I know. It's not up on screen, but by
Do you
the way,
think
Cole.
he flew out of the retractable roof with those ears afterwards?
Went full Dumbo.
Yep.
Yep.
No,
I can't
but
even move my
he-
ears like
he
that.
heard the game was over quick.
it is up
he
on
heard
screen.
game. He heard game, all right. Yeah.
That's
He
funny.
hears what the refs are whispering about.
Yeah, ref, that was a bullshit call. He hears the refs debating on it. That's it. They're
Right.
gonna fuck Dallas again.
They're over there in review.
You know, so a lot of wild card games went as expected. The one I was really disappointed in, and I guess I should have saw it coming, but the Cardinals Rams, like, the Cardinals have been playing like trash, and
have.
at the halfway through the season they were my Super Bowl pick, and I love Kyler Murray, but God, dude, Cliff's got to figure out somebody posted, like, even going back to college, his second half of seasons, he has like a 20% win percentage every year he coaches. He does so good in the first half of the year, and then they just suck in the second half. Like, what is there's got to be a denominator there somewhere, but I just wasn't. I was expecting them to at least make it a game, and they just got
Yeah.
clapped by the Rams.
No, I know the Ravens lost in 2019 barely. I can't remember if it was us or someone else in our
Yeah.
division, but I remember Kyler going to the post-game interview and he was saying how mad he was because he believed they could win that game, and I believed they could win that game.
Yeah.
And then this year they played really good, but at the same time, I always told everybody, like, it's the beginning of the year. Most people are figuring out, or like the injuries happen right away for
Yep.
some reason. Like we lost Moser like right instantly. So
Well, I mean, yeah.
so when
That's every year.
and then everyone, but they always look at like what your last 6 games of like your last tough 6 games and who has the easiest schedule, and they start busting out like who can make playoffs and stuff
Yep.
like that. So I figured that they were gonna, because we had to play them again, and I actually thought we'd beat them, but I knew we'd lose the first one and stuff like that, but
For sure.
I can understand why Kyler and them are having problems.
Yeah.
You can't buy talent, and the Rams are struggling with.
I mean, is it really DeAndre Hopkins? Obviously,
no,
he goes
That's
out
Mr.
and the
like-
whole team
yeah,
just.
that's Mr. Third Down conversion. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the
Right.
problem with Arizona is there was so much sizzle and spice on paper that you actually, I mean, looking deep down, I think they had the talent
Yeah.
to compensate around that. But when you talk about Kyler Murray now playing well, players who previously had stepped up,
and Buddha went
just
out.
not stepping up, and then Buddha being injured too. I think
Buddha
it
went
was just
out,
too
so
much
that
for them
kinda
to
hurt
overcome
them.
on. Honestly, what wasn't probably as deep of a team as we thought. I probably bought in way too much after Kyler got hurt and they had some success there. It was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was definitely my surprise. I don't think anybody was surprised at the Chiefs Steelers outcome. Big Ben was, 3/4 into retirement, anyways.
Oh, I swear,
Yeah.
Ben couldn't throw past 10 yards.
Speak a little bit more into the mic. People are
Okay.
having a hard time picking your
Yeah, I
voice
was about to
up.
say I just turned
Okay.
him up a little bit, so hopefully
Okay.
we can get him a little bit better.
Perfect. So yeah, wild card weekend was wild, a little wild, a lot of blowouts, a couple upsets. I was expecting the Cowboys to go to the NFC Championship this year. I mean, you got
They
what
look- no, Dak's
4 or
accuracy.
5 weeks leading into the playoffs, they were just shitting all over everybody, and I was like, okay, they were on fire. So I thought
They were supposed to be the hot team, though.
Thing
Yeah.
for
I mean,
Cowboys
looking at 'em-
is I had Dak on fantasy, and Dak was starting to fall off. So
Yeah.
I knew that's why they kept saying change the running back.
Yeah.
But Elliott couldn't keep
Well,
an average towards the end
Turns
of the
out he had a
season.
PCL injury, so the whole time
Oh, okay.
Tony Pollard is not only a serviceable running back, he's
Yeah.
a very good
No,
running back. Like
I
you
actually
can
Tony
lean
Pollard
on him.
starts for half the
I
teams
like
in the
him better
NFL.
than
Yeah,
Zeke.
exactly. He's a starter in most teams. But obviously, we're halfway through divisional playoffs already. We had 2 insane games yesterday. They weren't super high scoring affairs, but the very unpredictable. That's for sure.
Yes.
The first time, this is a cherry pick stat that I saw, but first time that both number 1 seeds got knocked out by walk-off field goals. So
Yeah.
that's never happened, and this is going to be the first Super Bowl where neither team has had a first-round bye.
Hold on, though. I'm going to put a big asterisk next to that because we've only had the 2 first-round buys. Instead of 4 of them for 2
you
years
can't even
now.
put an asterisk on that because, you got, 53, 54 years of Super Bowls? You're telling me that,
Yeah, when you
before
take... Yeah.
4 teams had first-round buys, but you're telling me after 50-something years there wasn't 1 year where all 4 teams got knocked out of the playoffs?
For the first or second round, no, I 100% believe it. I mean, you can get a flawed first seed. I think we've seen that with the Steelers. We've seen that this year with the Titans. A number 1 seed who probably is not the best team in the conference. We get that all the time.
Yeah.
But I think firmly, usually what you get at that number 2, and I think you find this here with Kansas City this year. Unfortunately, they play Buffalo this week. We'll talk about that game, though. But I think you find this, though, to where the number 2 seed, when we have this flawed number 1 seed, the number 2 seed is almost the best team.
Yeah.
Because you look at KC here, early season struggles. The defense was playing horrendous. Patrick Mahomes was off his shit. And then they kind of ratchet everything together to be really the best team in the second half. But they're still the number 2 seed because of that late season loss to the Bengals, just the way the cookie crumbles. You know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
So that's where I put a small asterisk next to it because only the number 1 seeds getting buys. It is huge because you cut in half the teams who are getting first round buys because it goes from 4 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid off of bye, was a monster, just for the Chiefs specifically. But I just think that's given a lot of teams advantages and disadvantages over the years to where, one of the 4. Also, let's remember in the past there's been 6 playoff teams. So not only do you take away one of the, first round buys, but you actually add a team. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it was more likely to happen in these first couple of years.
Yeah.
Now, the real stat will be is if there's no 2 or 1 seeds in the Super Bowl.
That would be
because,
crazy.
Yeah, if we now see the Chiefs lose out, who's left? You know what I mean? Because did the Bucks get the 2 seed then?
Yeah, Bucks were 3 seed.
No, the Bucks were. So who's
Were
the
they the 2 seed? Let's see.
Yeah,
I thought they were 2, yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the Bucks are at home today against the Rams.
Oh, you're right, because the Cowboys were the 2 seed and they got bumped down.
Yep.
So yeah, Bucks are the 2 seed.
So if the Bucks lose today and the Chiefs lose, we would have. Then I think you would talk about no 1 or 2 seed in the Super Bowl for the probably first time ever.
Yep, that would be pretty. Nothing but underdogs winning. I mean, I can't really call the thing is the NFC's so competitive that the 3 and 4 seed, the Rams and the Bills, they could easily be the 1 and 2 seeds. So that's not of any surprise. But I don't think anybody saw the Bengals and Niners. Or sorry,
Not
I need to
anybody.
back up my statement
Not
there.
anybody.
Didn't mean to say NFC is so competitive. Bills are not NFC; they're AFC.
Thank you. Tyler chimed in.
I
Bucks
was
were
like,
2.
I was retracting my statement. I was talking too fast and I caught myself. But what I meant to say is the Rams and the Bills, not the NFC. The Rams and the Bills are so competitive. Either one of them could have been the 1 or 2 seed in their conference as well. And so, I don't think it'd be any surprise for them to each upset respectively today. I think the Bills are going to stomp the Chiefs, honestly. I mean, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. So to break down the divisional round weekend, let's talk about the games yesterday. What to you is the bigger shocker? Jace, I'm going to start with you because, Chris, we kind of know where your bias is. But, Jace, what shocked you the most yesterday? Which game surprised you the most?
Absolutely the Niners. Like I'm a big fan of the Bengals. The Titans, everybody says the Titans are the worst number 1 seed we've seen in a long time. I don't think that's necessarily true. They are a good team, but Derrick Henry was still coming off that really nasty ACL injury. And the Bengals are a great team. They're loaded with young talent. They're explosive. They've been proving themselves every week for the past month and a half. So that wasn't too much of a shocker to me that they beat the Titans. I actually had them picked to beat the Titans. But you got the 49ers going into Lambeau Field. It's what did we find out? -4 degrees at the stadium?
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo's never played in a game colder than 44 degrees in his career. And you're going up against Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the best cold weather quarterbacks we've seen. I was expecting this to be one of those 44-10 just absolute blowouts, but I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. When I watched that field goal happen, Robbie Gould, man, he's a beast. But yeah, that was definitely the biggest shocker from yesterday. Absolutely was the Niners upsetting the Packers.
All right, Chris. Obviously, you're probably not shocked. Your shock is let's have you talk about the other game. What did you see from and hear from the Bengals? I mean, were you shocked? I guess first off, did you predict the Bengals winning, or did you think the Titans were honestly going to win?
I actually had the Bengals to win. I think it's time to take the king off, or the crown off King Henry. I don't think he's earned the king part in that. They just, like you guys said, they're explosive. I mean, they're the one problem I have with the Bengals going further from here is you got to play like you've been there before, or they got to come out and play a hell of a game from here on. But I still think the shock of the game was still the Niners. Like, we still had to shock everybody, regardless of.
I think even after the Cowboys, I think everybody
believed in
expected,
them.
all right, it's Rodgers, though.
Yeah, it's and they were sitting for a couple extra weeks, you know. So we had to play a battle with the Cowboys before this, and they banged us up a little bit. And how cold it was to get popped and see. To see Debo and them limping off the field, to see Jones go head-to-head with one of our backs and stuff like that. I thought we were slowly taking ourselves out the game for a moment. But, I mean, defense stepped up, dude. They battled in the trenches, and I don't think anybody's seen them stopping them for pretty much the whole game after the first drive. So,
well, and, I mean, with the Niners, I think a lot of credibility was gained. But once again, I think I kind of fell susceptible to the okay, but we've seen this from the Cowboys. We've seen it before, and we know Aaron Rodgers likes to choke in the championship game, not the divisional round. So,
especially against the Niners.
Yep. Well, and let's talk about another stat that's now up here because everybody circulates this, clip about Rodgers, making the Niners regret their choices.
Yeah.
And while he has a Super Bowl and the Niners don't in that time frame, he's 0-4 in the playoffs against Jimmy Garoppolo and Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
So. And at this point, the Niners seem to be the kryptonite for Rodgers, honestly, especially when it comes to January. Yeah. Honestly, and not to say they made the right choice. Obviously, selecting Alex Smith, and we can go down the fucking wormhole and the butterfly effect of history later. But even with Rodgers, and we'll talk about his offseason plans. I don't know, something in Green Bay just. It didn't even feel right yesterday. Like, I kept watching this game, and about halfway through, if I could have, changed my pick, like, I'll stick to my guns, and I picked the Packers. But halfway through, something felt like, you know what, as long as the Niners keep this around, it's their game to win. Because if we're talking one team who is 52-man talented outside the quarterback position, no shade to Jimmy Garoppolo, but if there's one team that is the most talented in the playoffs right now, it's got to be Deebo Samuel and the Niners. Yeah. Which I'm gonna put everybody on Deebo watch. He is a top 5 wide receiver.
My God,
he definitely.
Is easily.
He's setting himself up to break so many records. I already am telling my parents and everybody that he's the next Jerry Rice. Like, I mean, a lot of attention went towards Cooper Kupp this year. Cooper Kupp had a great year, but Deebo had missed a couple games, but he was right under Cooper, and that's what people don't realize. And
shout out Tyler. I would also say top 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to really look at his dual threat versatility. Yeah. The fact that he was, I can't pull the stat off memory, but I did see it a couple weeks ago. He was the first wide receiver in NFL history to have, like, X amount of rushing touchdowns and like the dude, like, no matter where you lined him up, he was explosive. Yep. And when they beat the Cowboys, there was he was being interviewed, or somebody had told the media that he went up to coach and said, Kyle and said, "Hey, like, just give me the ball. I'm gonna do my thing." Yeah. And then he just balled out and got that touchdown. Yeah, that was Debo is, man. I love Debo. He's a beast. Yep.
So going forward, Jace, I'll kind of give this to you as the non-biased person here.
'Kay.
I mean, are the Niners now the NFC favorite? Do you now put them ahead of the Buccaneers and Rams, seeing that they beat two teams we were pretty high on for the Super Bowl, two teams we kind of felt like we would get over their curses, get over their humps, while the Niners appeared to be just another part of those curses. So do you now buy in on the Niners bandwagon, Jace?
Sorry, Chris. I do not. I have a lot of respect for the Niners.
No, you're good.
I totally appreciate what they've accomplished so far. It is incredible, and I'm not saying that they can't go to the Super Bowl. But when I'm looking at this on paper, and I'm looking this as objectively as possible. I'm trying not to be subjective here, but the most important position in football is the quarterback position. And when you have a combination of a good defense and an elite quarterback, that's what's going to take you to championship games. So when I look at the 3 NFC teams that are left, and I'm looking at the Rams, who have a top 5, or I'd say a top 10 defense, and Matt Stafford, who I think is he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's just been stuck on the Lions. And then you got the greatest quarterback to ever play the game and a top 5 defense. You got to look at the recipe on paper there and what's more likely to happen as far as an outcome. You know, if the Packers, and this is kind of, I feel weird saying this, but I think if weather hadn't been an issue, I think the Packers probably would have came out on top. I think the weather did impede a lot of that. There was a lot of, it was sleet, drizzling, the ball was wet. There was a lot of stuff happening, though the Packers did, their special teams kind of fuck themselves. But I think that the Bucks or the Rams are going to be a little bit too much for the 49ers to overcome. I could shoot myself in the foot with that statement. This week, last week, we didn't expect them to beat the Cowboys or the Packers, especially the Packers. But I just think when you look at talent plus defense and the quarterback position is the missing variable, that the Jimmy G is a serviceable quarterback, but he's not an elite quarterback. I think Stafford and Brady are obviously both elite quarterbacks, and that's going to be the key equation. And just kind of circling, I'll let you take over here in a sec. The Packers also do not have, Rodgers doesn't have all the weapons that Stafford and Brady do. You know, he's got Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, but he doesn't have Gronk and Mike Evans, and he doesn't have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and OBJ and Tyler Higbee. You know, and
Woods is not a weapon
not
right
Woods.
now.
I didn't mean to say.
Sorry.
Well, obviously, I'm just rattling off their roster, but Cam Akers coming back, he looked really good.
Yeah, he did.
I just think that the Rams and the Bucks have a better supporting cast around their elite quarterbacks, and coupling that with both the Rams and Bucks have better defenses than the Packers. So I think that you just look at it on paper, and I think it's going to be a little bit too much for the Niners to bite off, but it's amazing they're going to the championship game to begin with, in my opinion.
All right, Chris, here's a little bit of kudos for you before you jump on in here, buddy.
All right.
8 worst quarterbacks to ever win a Super Bowl. Number 8 is actually going to be the man who just retired, Big Ben Roethlisberger. He is in Super Bowl 40. He was 9 of 21, threw 2 picks, and finished with a 22.6 rating. In Super Bowl 43, let's see here. It looks like James Harrison's interception return kind of saved their ass on that one there, as he was once again trash. But he did toss 2 touchdowns, 2 picks for a 77.4 rating. But Big Ben was actually number 8 on their worst quarterbacks. But here's some other bad quarterbacks. Joe Namath. Even though Broadway Joe did predict that Super Bowl win and call his shot in the 3rd Super Bowl, honestly, Joe Namath, one of the worst Super Bowl winning touchdown to interception ratios of all time. He threw 173 tutties to 220 picks in his career.
Jesus.
Wow.
Brad Johnson won with the Buccaneers and their defense against, I cannot remember the team off the top of my head. It wasn't at all a traumatic moment for me as a child, but he won with the Buccaneers and that defense, and honestly was nothing special. 24 touchdowns and 13 picks that year. But once again, a career backup kind of stepping in. Next one, Mark Rypien. Washington's Mark Rypien was just absolute trash. He took over for Doug Williams in 1988, but he never had a completion percentage better than 59%. So think about that. A couple more to go off. We have Jeff Hostetler, the backup GOAT, winning for the Giants, obviously when Phil Simms was injured. And then Hostetler did then go to the Raiders, where he threw like 20 touchdowns, 16 picks, and had like a 58% completion percentage. Was out of the league by 97. So a couple of highlights there. First ever black quarterback to win the Super Bowl, Doug Williams. Unfortunately, they're going to put number 3 on this list with a career completion percentage of 49.5. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. There was a time in the NFL you could start for years with a sub 50% completion percentage. 2 more. We got Jim Plunkett. As the Raiders quarterback, he never completed more than 52% of his passes and had an 18-16 touchdown to pick ratio. Jace, can you guess who number 1 on the list is?
Trent Dilfer?
Yes, sir. Now, after I jumped off and Trent Dilfer won the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, obviously that legendary 2000s Ravens team, as I am going off. Chris, those 8 quarterbacks won a Super Bowl. Give me your case to why Jimmy G wins.
All right, so I can't fully take us out of it because I do agree. They have Tampa and the Rams have so many options to throw the ball. So many. I mean, I feel like first off, the Rams take off of our playbook with all the little side tosses with the receivers and stuff.
It's all that 2013 Washington, though.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we've all seen the meme, boys.
Definitely
We've all
agree.
seen the meme. All right?
I mean, Trent Williams is a beast over there. But you got to remember, we've beat the Rams 6 times. And that's in 3 years. So we got their number. Like you said, we've just been battling as a team for so many years that I think we actually got a good team in our locker room compared to buying teammates and putting them in a locker room. It's a little bit different. I mean, they struggled, and then everybody's excuse in the first week was, well, you got to give them some time. OBJ just got there. Well, we gave them some time, and we beat them again before we started the playoffs.
Are the Niners not really just the best team in the NFL, or are they just everybody's kryptonite? That's what I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I always tell people, play like you've been there. Mm-hmm. And Tom Brady plays like he's been there. He's been in those tight situations just like Rodgers has. That's why 30 seconds is a problem.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. I told everybody that, I feel like Tom Brady's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And I really want that game.
I don't see... Okay, go on.
No, you're fine. I just feel like Tom Brady's the problem.
The Niners are the solution.
Yeah. Jimmy's the new era, man. But no, I see QBs that can play with their talent around them and take full advantage of it, and that's Tom Brady all the way. I can't lie, but you can't hate on what the Bengals are doing. You can't hate on what the Packers were doing. Like, I expected higher score game. Mm-hmm. I thought at least 1 or 2 more touchdowns by each team.
Yep.
I thought it'd be like 24 area. But God, you can't hate on Robbie Gould. If I was gonna put some money down on that game, it was Robbie to kick a field goal for the win.
Between Gould and was it Evan Peterson or McPherson, or what's the kicker for the Bengals? Evan McPherson?
It starts with an M.
It's McPherson.
Say,
It's McPherson. Yeah,
Mac,
I think.
Yeah, they say Mac Money.
Yep.
They call him Mac
Man,
Money.
Talk about clutch kickers
Yeah,
yesterday. Yeah. But no, yeah, you made good points, and Tyler brought up a good point too in the chat. He said that the X factor is going to be Kyle Shanahan, and I agree with him. I think it's going to come down to coaching.
Yep.
You know, as much as I would like to see a Rams-Niners championship, I still think it's going to be Bucs-Niners. But McVay and Shanahan coaching against each other in the NFC Championship would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it would be an awesome game.
Yep.
I can't hate on that game or the Bucs-Niners game. I think the story lines up really good if it's Bucs-Niners, but
Yep.
Well, the storylines across the playoffs are awesome because as I'm going to kind of shift our focus to the games that we have going on, now we're going to start. We're going to go across to the AFC because one photo kind of keeps coming up for me right now, and I don't think it's being circulated enough. It's Stephon Diggs last year in the AFC Championship game, and he is sitting there and he's looking at the Chiefs celebrating. And a lot of press got kind of put around this year, and it's something I've thought of all year. I'm like, this is Diggs and Allen on a mission. No matter the ups, the downs, Buffalo has been my Super Bowl pick since the beginning of the year to go to the Super Bowl, at least for the AFC. Now, I had them playing the Packers. Obviously, I'm only going to be 50% right at best. But, gentlemen, I mean, this is a great storyline game here. So, Chris, we'll kind of kick it back to you here. What are your kind of initial thoughts going into Bills-Chiefs this time around 1 year later?
I'm actually really excited for this game. This is like two teams that literally got everything they need to battle. I mean, there is no excuses at all for this game. I honestly can't even pick. I see it going another field goal. Yeah. I literally see it going another field goal unless someone shoots themselves in the foot with an interception at the worst time. But I see it being a gunshot. Everyone's throwing deep balls. Everyone's running hard downhill. I just don't see no one giving. And like you said, Diggs is a beast. I forgot he stood actually in the tunnel. So I'm glad you brought that up because he had some crazy plays in the last game to even like keep him in it for third down or fourth down conversions.
Yep.
So
Well, I think if you're going to call it an X factor, and Jace, I'll kind of kick it back to you after I label this off, but I think the Bills, or this game's X factor, is Stephon Diggs. Not even Josh Allen, but I think KC has completely flipped their defense. I mean, I talked the most shit the first 6 weeks when they were literally the second worst defense in the NFL. They were bad. But I think Steve Spagnuolo got that group kind of together, going around this new system, this philosophy here, and I think they kind of ratcheted everything up. So I guess going into this game, Jace, do you have a different X factor to kind of go off this game?
I do. I think there's three key things that factor into this matchup and why I think the Bills are going to win. Okay, the first thing I'm going to bring up is actually on the Kansas City side of the ball. The Chiefs, we can all agree, are one of, if not the best team in football.
Yeah,
okay,
overall.
They are incredible. The problem with the Chiefs lately, and I mean going all the way back to Week 10, is that they only seem to be playing 30 minutes of football every game. They play 30 minutes of really, really good football, but for 30 minutes, they seem to be struggling and can't find their groove. You cannot do that when you're playing against the Bills, okay? Especially a Bills team that has come into the playoffs on a mission. These guys just put up a perfect game against Bill Belichick, okay? The Chiefs have to come out and they got to play 60 full minutes of good football if they're going to beat the Bills, okay? Now, the second thing I'm going to bring up, and this is kind of wrapping into my X factor, and this is going to kind of throw everybody for a curveball, but a player that's been getting overlooked, okay? And I think this is something Sean McDermott's done really well recently in the last 6 weeks that's been leading to some Bills success, is that he is getting Devin Singletary rolling, okay? I think one of the biggest...
About time, too, I will say.
Yes, I think one of the biggest struggles the Bills have had is that they haven't been establishing a run identity. Josh Allen's been their run identity, but when you turn one player into your team's total weapons, it makes it easier for the other team to game plan against you. Now, when they can get Devin Singletary rolling and he's busting off 6-7 yards per carry, he's notching up a couple touchdowns every game, that defense is going to have to start focusing on him. You got to worry about him. You got to worry about Josh Allen. You got to worry about Stephon Diggs. Let's not overlook Dawson Knox either.
I was about to
He's
say,
a beast,
getting Dawson Knox involved, too.
And I think that's going to be the recipe. If they can, the Chiefs do have a weaker run defense. If they can get Devin Singletary rolling, it's going to open up the play action. It's going to make it easier for Josh Allen to get rolling, and they're just going to start snowballing. So I think that Devin, not saying he's the best player on the team, I just think that he is the X factor to really getting the Bills' offense unlocked to their full potential.
And don't forget about Josh Allen's legs. Like if he actually starts running the ball and forcing Kansas City's defense to start moving up, then he could start slinging the ball deep. So his legs are going to be a big factor in that game. If he's actually running for those third downs and stuff, then he's going to get them, and then they're in trouble.
Well, and Tyler brought up a really interesting comment here, so I'm going to go to his
I'm reading
thing
Tyler's
here that
too.
he was going off. So we're talking about they're also missing Tre'Davious White for Buffalo. Huge piece in the secondary to this number one defense. I mean, if we're talking probably a top 5 lockdown corner in the NFL right now, Tre'Davious White has been that guy for Buffalo for a while now. And I don't think he really gets his flowers. So them missing, I think they're riding the momentum off of that. I think this Bills team is really good at taking adversity and honestly smiling back in its face. You took a Patriots team that beat them embarrassingly running the ball and only throwing it 3 times, and I think they came back and they've absolutely slaughtered them in respect. So I think you have a team who, when it comes to being on a mission, when it comes to taking emotions and playing with them, honestly, I don't see a better team better than Buffalo doing that right now, besides maybe the Niners. I think the Niners are really kind of taking that hate. They're taking the fact that no one counts them in. And honestly, at this point, it'd be really hard to argue against a Bills-Niners Super Bowl. And I'm just going to kind of slide right in. I will pick the Bills in this game today. I love you, Lane. He's not here this week.
I agree.
I'd pick the Bills. I don't know, Chris. I'm going to kick it back to you before we go to Jace on picks. Who's your X factor and who you picking for this game?
Chris?
My X factor is literally Allen. Like I said, with his legs, I don't see Kansas City stopping it because I still think they got great D. Like they have I think some of the best D because they're gonna stick to your receiver like nothing. So if he runs that ball like at least 5 yards, it's gonna force him to run forward and it's gonna start playing short. And he's going to sling that ball to Diggs deep.
Well, if you talk about trying to put Tyrann Mathieu in a box instead of letting him roam, too,
Yep.
I mean, Jace, do you share the same sentiment? Are you picking the Bills? Or you?
I am. I am.
you are?
I'm on the bold take of the day, gentlemen. I'm picking the. I think the Bills are going to win by 10. At
Really?
least
So
10.
you'd put
Yep.
money on the Bills just to
No, I
trounce
can
them?
see that.
I think
could see that.
I think the Bills are going to not only win but win by a wider margin than anybody expects them to. So,
Scoring's easy for
yep.
them.
Yep. They're on a mission. They're out for blood. Like Cole, you brought up a really good point of Diggs and Allen being on a kind of a revenge mission here. They're trying to prove a point, and last week sold me. If they didn't perform the way they did last week, I wouldn't be as heavy on them as I am today. But when you get momentum like that rolling, it spreads, man. Your team's just pumped up and amped up, and yeah.
See, and I don't want to even bag on Kansas City. They are good. They got a good team. But I think all the weight's on Andy Reid's shoulders. Those plays where Kelsey tossed that touchdown and stuff, those are going to be the difference makers in this game. So every once in a while, you'll see Hill go from blocking to just straight sprinting down the field, and it's a bomb. But I think if Kansas City's line can't protect Mahomes and he has to start scrambling a lot more, it's going to get under his skin a little bit. And they got the line to do that, and they got the backs to stop everyone. So I don't really see it going Kansas City's favor tonight. I agree. They could win by 10.
How bad does Andy Reid want his victory wings? That's what it comes down to. Yep.
I think here, one other X factor I'm going to shout out here, a guy who had a great game last week with 8 tackles. Guy was really high on coming out of college, too, and I think he's blossomed nicely with Buffalo, Tremaine Edmonds. I think you see him in a very versatile role as far as rushing the passer and being in pass protection, too. Does he cover Kelsey? Do they go with Matt Milano on him? Or, how often does he actually get to the quarterback? I think Edmonds and Milano, that linebacking core for Buffalo, is also who I'd spotlight.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the linebacking core, the secondary I believe in. Even with Tre'Davious White out, you got Micah Hyde, you got some bangers back there. The secondary is good. But honestly, I think the linebackers are who set the tone for Buffalo today, and they're the ones who determine how this game goes. Is it a shootout? Is it a trouncing? Does Kansas City get on top? What happens here, I think that comes down to how Buffalo's linebackers play.
Exactly. And with Tre'Davious out too, Tyreek Hill could be the X factor, not Kelsey.
I literally see it being Hill. Kelsey got him there. Hill usually takes over right now. But it's going to be a really close game. It's literally going to be who wants it more. Everyone's got to sprint to that ball, no matter what. That's how Green Bay lost one last night. Is no one was sprinting to that ball, and Niners were just right there to pick it up. And so, it's who wants it more at this point. And
like Jay said, you got to play a full 60 if you're KC.
Yep. Yeah, they can't be playing because it was last week. I didn't catch the whole game, but from what I saw in the highlights, they weren't looking too hot in the first half, and then they came out and just destroyed.
I was about to say Pittsburgh they destroyed Pittsburgh, but I guess I'm biased because I think Pittsburgh should not have been in the playoffs in the first place.
No.
But yeah, pretty much KC got their bye. Andy Reid got his bye. Let's see what they do this week.
Yep, exactly.
Now moving on to definitely a game that actually they have more of a point spread in, but God, these games are coming down good. We got Matty Stafford and the Rams against the Buccaneers. So you have the team who kind of star-bought their way to a title last year versus the team they're Los Angeles. They are nothing but the stars this year. So, and then one more I'm going to shout out on the last game. T. Maltz popped on in. He said Micah Hyde's going to be an X factor, which I completely agree. I think Micah Hyde's going to run that secondary. Tyler is going to go ahead and say the X factor for him is going to be Dawson Knox. So, and I agree with this. I think, get that tight end going. So, yeah, there we go, boys. All right, shout out to you guys there. Tyler says over 1.5 touchdowns for Dawson Knox, and the Bills win. But, Chris, because we are talking about some divisional rivalries, I'm going to give you the second stage. Jace, go ahead and break down this Rams-Buccaneers game for me, buddy.
I think this one is going to come down to a battle of the defenses, and I don't mean that in a good way because I think this is going to be a higher scoring game. The Buccaneers have a good run defense, but they are susceptible through the air, which is where the Rams excel at. They do have Cam Akers. He's still coming off injury. Sony Michel's been doing well, but Stafford and Kupp and especially OBJ lately, man, he's been balling out. He's been targeted in the red zone more than any other wide receiver since he's been on the Rams. He's definitely a big X factor here. You got to watch out for them. But the Rams are also depleted. You got two mediocre secondaries right now. The Rams don't normally have a mediocre secondary, but they're just injured. And then
Also, Taylor Rapp is out today for the Rams officially. Just so you guys know.
So you got 2 stud offenses, and I think what this is going to boil down to is coaching and quarterbacks. And as you know, I would like to see the Rams win this one, but I do see the Buccaneers taking this one over. I think that McVay and Arians are both very great coaches, but Tom Brady, when it comes to the playoffs, I mean, the dude just steps up to the occasion. He's gonna. I think he's just going to dunk all over the Rams. They signed Eric Weddle. I love Eric. He's awesome. He's my cousin, actually, but he's older. He's retired for a reason.
I always forget that. You're related to Eric Weddle. I forget this.
Yep, and I love Eric, and I want to see him succeed, but he's also in his, he's older than I am, and he was retired for a reason. So when you start signing retired safeties, you're going to be a little susceptible through the air, and I think that's the Bucs are going to step up, and with Fournette back, Fournette played a huge role in when the Bucs went on their spree in kind of end of season there, and Fournette was a critical factor, and then he got injured, and now that he's back, I think that unlocks the whole. He's kind of that Devin Singletary. He's gonna. If you get Fournette rolling, you unlock the rest of the offense. I think that same thing happens. So I think next week we're looking at a Niners-Buccaneers NFC Championship, and I think we're looking at a Bengals-Bills. That's going to be a really fun one if that does come to fruition. But I got Bucs over Rams.
High score.
High score. I think both teams have over 30 points.
All right, Chris. Obviously, you got a little bit of bias against one of these teams coming out of the same division, being a rival. Obviously, I think you want to see the Rams, but unbiased opinion, who do you honestly think wins this game, and who is your X factor for this game?
My X factor is Tom Brady. You can't ignore it's Tom Brady, but Fournette is right there too. Like, I totally agree. They are. I think Tampa midseason. Fournette was amazing. He literally was going off on fantasy for somebody. Somebody was destroying us with Fournette, but he just couldn't stop running downhill. He's one of the best. I doubted the guy a couple years ago. He's proved me wrong, but I think Fournette's a big X factor. But Tom Brady, you're going to see him do the things Tom Brady does, like go down the field in the last 2 minutes because you gave him 1:37 left before halftime, and that's going to get them to lead before halftime, and then you're going to give them the last 40 seconds at the end of the game to really make or break his career, and that's something he's great at doing. So I do think Rams though have the talent. You can't ignore their talent, especially Ramsey. The dude's a beast over there. He picked off Kittle. But my thing is Stafford can't throw no picks this game. Literally, he can't throw no picks.
I was about to say, who just said it in the comment section? Someone just said, "Yep, Weston." So shout out Weston Mays here, Lions fan. So he's got some love for Matty Staff. But he says if Matt Stafford doesn't turn the ball over, that the Rams win.
I think that's crucial. It's all on. I think it's on Stafford more than the coaches, because he's got to execute, and that's just plain simple. Like you said, Odell's been hot right now and stuff like that. You got to put that ball there for him and give him a chance. You got to give him a chance. Don't throw something like when Jimmy was flush out the pocket. Don't throw that ball. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like Stafford does the same thing. When you get pressure in your face, he kind of scatters. And I think he should just use his legs instead of his arm in that situation, and it'll help him so much more.
Cole, do you mind if I jump in for another second?
Go right ahead, man.
There's one critical thing that I think we all kind of overlooked when we're addressing this game, and I think that this is going to be another kind of X factors. I'm going to say that plural, and that's going to be the Buccaneers' offensive line, because when you got Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the other side, if the history has proven that if you can stay in Tom Brady's face all game long, you're going to beat him. So I think that this game is going to boil down to Donald and Miller and that Rams defensive line getting to Brady as quickly as they can. And so if the Bucs offensive line can hold up, that's going to be another huge factor in this game as well.
You'll see Tom yelling in his teammate's face if you can get to Tom.
Yep.
That's literally how it's going to go. You'll get under his skin, and then you're seeing helmet slams and yelling. But, he's a competitor. He's going to fight to the end of the game. So, 20 seconds is a problem.
Shout out to Terrence, who just said the same thing.
They got to pound that ball. Rams got to pound that ball. They got to play smart because I truly believe that when Tampa is in this game, their defense comes alive.
Yep.
So it's Tampa's the problem, not just Tom, but their defense. Defense gets hyped real quick when they shut down you just on a turnover.
I think this game's going to come down to a field goal. I think this is going to be a neck and neck game. Yeah,
this one's a field
and
goal.
it's going to be high scoring. If the over under was 60, I would take the over. Because
Bold.
because you have two depleted secondaries outside of Jalen Ramsey. I mean, both teams
so your
are
gambling
so
advice-
vulnerable through the air.
Another thing
Yeah.
is how well does Ramsey take like bad plays? Is he gonna cost
Mm-hmm.
himself a penalty? You know, that could hurt the team real big. He might even could get ejected or for fighting or something because he's so passionate.
He
of
is a very
player.
passionate
He's
player,
a very
yeah.
passionate player. So I see him being really rowdy today and maybe trying to get in their heads a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do see it coming to either the last game-winning drive or a field goal.
For sure.
It's gonna be this is actually one of the games I'm really looking forward to.
And we're only 2 hours away.
And Buffalo and Kansas City kind of just was like icing.
Yeah.
So like I can't hate on any of these games
Yep.
this week. I'm happy with all of them.
Thank God it's just not Brady and the Patriots. Even if it's Brady and the Bucks, I'm like, it
Yeah.
still rings better than Brady and the Patriots.
It does. It's going to be a great Sunday, boys.
And I don't try going backwards, but honestly, the biggest disappointment was Tennessee this week. Like not performing wise, I expected a battle in Lambeau. So I think Tennessee, I just expected more. I expected Brown to have a game, but I thought Julio and them would step up and.
I'm going to put a pin in
Julio
there
was-
because
he
I have
switched
something
teams.
to say
It
on
was his
Tennessee
chance to-
later on.
to do something.
For sure. What you got, Cole?
I said I'm going to put a pin in Tennessee because I have something to say about them later on that might shock some peeps. But for this game here, let's talk about some X factors. We got some people talking here in the comment section. Obviously, we have Taryn agreeing with the Von Miller and Aaron Donald. His X factor is going to be Leonard Fournette, so he's going to kind of jump in with you on there, Jace, as well as Tyler just jumped in. He's like, we're both watching Le'Veon Bell and OBJ making bids for the Super Bowl today. So
incredible.
yeah, pretty incredible. And also, you know, we have Gronk in the game. There's a lot of stars in these games. But, boys, I think this game comes down to two X factors for me, and they're both going to be on the defensive side. One is going to be the man who is on your jersey right now, Jace, and that's going to be Von Miller.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be the X factor for the Rams. I think you're finally seeing Von come into what he needs to be. He's an elite pass rusher. Late in his career, he's perfect for about 30 snaps a game, and in those 30 snaps, he needs to cause hell. And that's what he's been doing. He looks like Von of old, and just like OBJ, he's getting back in the swing of things. He may not be the top 5 at his position that he once was, but you know what? It's Toby Keith. I ain't as good as I once was, but he's as good about 20 times as he ever was a fucking game. All right, so well, you can't play him every single snap. I do think that Von is the X factor for the Rams today, because obviously Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. We already know about him. But honestly, on the Buccaneers side, Devin White. Devin White needs to have the game of his life. Devin White is fast. He is aggressive. He's a great middle linebacker, and I think he's the heir apparent to Levante David in that defense. And to stop the Rams today, he needs to have a huge game. Honestly, I'm putting a lot on the linebackers this weekend because I think even though that secondary for the Bucs, you know, you pretty much got Winfield back there right now. I mean, their injury list is long in the secondary. I think Murphy Bunting's even out right now. So I think Devin White needs to step up because when you're talking about playing across – you know, guys like Cooper Kupp in the slot, Devin White is going to have to cover him. You're going to have to cover Cooper. You're going to have to cover OBJ. You're going to have to cover Higbee. You're going to have to cover Sony Michel and Cam Akers coming out of the backfield. So the responsibility that he's going to have today, it needs to be on the linebackers.
I feel
Sorry,
like
rant over, but it needs to be. Devin White is probably my ultimate
I agree.
X
That's a
factor
great
for
take,
the
Cole.
weekend.
Yep.
I swear, like, why do I want to just put money on like Gronk to have 1 touchdown, Kupp to have 1 touchdown, and Fournette to have 1 touchdown?
Yeah.
Do it. Lock the bet. Lock it in.
Like seriously.
I know I was kind of addressing the offensive line earlier and how they're going to be a big X factor in this game, but I think that you're going to see 2 players stepping up on the Bucs. I think that if the pocket holds up, I think that Mike Evans is going to ball out. If the pocket's having a hard time and Brady's facing a lot of pressure, Gronk's going to turn into a safety blanket, and he's going to be. He's good at
moving with
He
him.
could have 10 receptions today if that happens. You know, so there's a lot to be excited for, and I'm ready for some football.
Yeah,
today.
you're literally gonna hear Gronk on the sideline saying, "Tutty, I need a tutty.
All right,
I
guys.
need another tutty."
Before we move on here, give me one hot take player to go off, and I'm going to start you off here. I think Tyler Johnson is someone to watch for the Bucks today. Obviously, with that receiving core depleted, you have AB going absolute manners with his injury. Obviously, Chris Godwin's going to be out here. I see Tyler Johnson going off. Last week, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 30 yards, not a big part of the game plan, but honestly, something about this, and I almost want to say Scotty Miller, but Scotty Miller's like too popular of a pick, so if I'm going hot take here, I think Tyler Johnson has himself a game today.
Are we talking about just the Rams-Bucks?
No, anybody from these games, but honestly, Tyler Johnson's my surprise go-off from today's games, the 2 games today.
If I got to pick a surprise go-off player, I'm going to go with Byron Pringle on the Chiefs. He has stepped up this year. The Chiefs have been looking for that just great number 2 to complement Tyreek Hill, and they've been, not anything against Hardman or Robinson. They're both good players in their own rights, but they both kind of fell short of the mark that the Chiefs are looking for. And one thing I've noticed throughout the season is every single week, Pringle seems to step up and look better and better and better. And so I think that, McDermott's going to be doing everything he can to take away Mahomes' weapons in both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And I could see that opening up for Pringle and
I agree,
him being Mahomes.
Yeah, he's been making a name for himself this year.
Yep. So who do you got for a hot take player today?
Reach down the bag. Is it Cole Beasley, the vaccination special?
The vaccination special.
Oh, gosh.
Cole Beasley is absolutely going to penetrate and infect the Chiefs' defense here. They're going to have to socially distance themselves from Cole Beasley,
Jokes
which is
aside,
only going to make it worse.
You can't count Beasley out. Dude balls.
Oh, I love me some Cole Beasley. I don't care to get political on this show, but I respect the man for what he does and what he does on the field, and the fact that he just gets absolutely shit-canned over and over and over again.
Well, Chris is thinking about his surprise player. I agree with you, Taryn, as well. I don't know if you were in the stream earlier, but I did bring up Singletary as the X factor in the Bills game for unlocking their offense against the Chiefs. So I do agree with you. Singletary could be a good one.
Should my X factor be that Kansas City lineman that got that touchdown? Shout out to him. I think it's going to be Hill, honestly. If Hill can make those breaks and keep his speed up and stay healthy all game, I think that's going to be a problem. But like you said, he's going to be running. He's going to be running constantly. I don't see Mahomes staying in the pocket very much for this one, so I see you doing slant routes, lots of slants, or it's going to be a broken play and someone slanting across the field anyway. But that's just how I see Hill getting the ball. That or a broken coverage like the Niners did where it was just someone got behind him, and it's going to be Hill. It's always Hill. I just see it being like, oh, wow, there was 30 seconds left, and you gave him time.
All right, guys, here's the question, though. Over, under 0.5, Tyreek Hill fine-worthy celebrations this week, as last week he did get fined for that pom-pom celebration.
I know. I actually called that, and I was surprised because didn't that happen to somebody with a Niner with the Cowboys or something?
I don't know. The
Joe
NFL
Owens
is
or
really
someone?
into just fining people for shit nowadays.
And then I think Ocho Cinco got that same fine. So I was actually surprised with that one. And then I think it was I'm forgetting what game it was. Somebody got up and got in someone's face in one of the games. And I was actually surprised. But I guess the refs are kind of like letting them fill it out, I guess. But
For sure.
That was a shocker. I agree.
So all in all, I got a Bengals Bills AFC Championship, and I got a Bucks Niners NFC Championship. That's where I got this weekend wrapping up, heading into next week.
Alrighty, boys. Now that we got this, we are going to put a pin in that because we're not going to sit here and predict the Super Bowl every single week. But let's talk some offseason because
for sure.
2 of us are really looking at the offseason. To set the table for you boys and girls right now, as I'm looking it up, we have a lot of GM and head coaching positions available in the NFL, including yours truly and Mr. Symes. So, Jace, while we're looking this up here, let's go ahead and give yourself a homer take on the Broncos right now. Give us your state of the franchise and what you want to see this offseason from the Orange.
I think what Denver really needs to focus on is unlocking the offense. I think that we've already proven over multiple years that where we excel is on the defensive side of the ball. And the thing that's frustrating, just from a fan base perspective, is that we have so much talent on our offense. You got Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, and then Melvin Gordon and wow, I'm having a really Javonte Williams now. And so you've got a ton of talent on the offense, but we need a quarterback and we need an offensive mind. We need to stop hiring defensive coordinators. I spent a few hours actually digging into success of offensive coordinators versus defensive coordinators the other week, and of the top 10 teams heading into the playoffs, 70% of them had offensive coordinators, that head coaches who were former offensive coordinators. So I think state of the franchise, we need to move on to an offensive mind in Denver, and I think Nathaniel Hackett and Byron Leftwich are my two favorites. We'll see what happens. I know they're interviewing Dan Quinn, but I think if we hire Dan Quinn, we're just doing the same thing we've done over and over and over again. And I'm just not a fan of Quinn as a head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator, but he's like Wade Phillips. You know, he tried it, he failed. Stick with what you're good at. Yeah, that's my take. I think Nathaniel Hackett, Byron Leftwich, I'd be really happy with Jim Harbaugh, but that's a pipe dream. But yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a fucking pipe dream because he's going to Vegas.
Fuck you.
Just kidding. I'll talk about my stuff here in a second. Joke I have to throw in here. We need to shout out Chris because the second time in a playoff situation, he's had the lights turned out on him.
Yep.
So on his debut appearance on the Fishing Elephant Show, he has the lights turned out and back in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
2013.
You know it. Speaking of Jim Harbaugh. No, but yeah,
My mom just told me I need to apply to be the Raiders head coach, and you know what, Mom? I'm about to throw my fucking hat in there, but I'm keeping Rich Bisaccia on as my special teams coordinator. He's got the heart of the team.
Heck yeah.
Hey, I mean, I guess you can do that if you jump to the Little League teams here and make a little Raiders team.
The Packers could use Bisaccia.
Oh yeah, God, the Packers can use a GM because that is ugly. $50 million, and we'll talk about our predictions here. I just want to go homer mode for a second on my boys. I do think we go with an Ed Dodd Jim Harbaugh combo, just from everything I've been hearing. Ed Dodd, if anybody doesn't know, also I'm going to say Siglin probably does because he's the Colts assistant general manager right now, and honestly, he's a great guy. I think when you're learning how to build a team, they don't really get it right with quarterback, obviously, with Carson Wentz. But you look at the team that Indy made, I do think that they have a really good roster. I think they draft well. I think they develop really well. I think
Yes.
Ed Dodd is a huge part of that. And I think he's going to come to Vegas, and I think he's going to bring Jim Harbaugh with him. My ultimate dream scenario, and I know a lot of Raiders fans on Twitter, I am cherry-picking this from them because they also agree with it. It's Ed Dodd, Jim Harbaugh, Pep Hamilton as our offensive coordinator. And Jace, you're not going to like to hear this, but Vic Fangio is our DC. I think Fangio deserves to be in the NFL.
Oh yeah,
I think he's a
an
defensive
amazing
genius, but that's the
defensive mind.
problem is you guys need offense, as you said, and I don't think he's the right head coach for the job. But when you take in a leader like Jim Harbaugh, I think he wins. Honestly, Michigan, people are swayed 50-50 on it, but I do think he's a better NFL head coach
I think
Yeah.
so.
than he is, a college head coach. So I think coming back in the NFL, he comes to the Raiders. Is it probably my dream hire? No, but do I think he's a good hire? Yeah, I'd also like to take one of these young coordinators. I'd take Eric Bieniemy, 1,000%. I think he gets disrespected from that, Andy Reid train and that Andy Reid tree there. And other than that, I would just pretty much just pray and hope to God we don't hire Josh McDaniels because I think that's another dead stump.
Oh, I
dead
love it.
stump.
Josh, it's great in Vegas. Fly out there, check it out. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Siglin says they're getting Devontae Adams and J.C. Jackson in the offseason, which that's cute, but Devontae's going to Vegas, bro. We all know that. He's teaming up with his college quarterback.
I've heard
Listen,
that
I've been
so
shipping
much.
Tay. I've been shipping
know-
Tay to the Raiders.
Do you know where Devontae's going to be doing in the offseason? He's going to be playing a great game of tag. It's called franchise tag, and he ain't going anywhere.
Well,
He'll be in
here's
Green
my
Bay.
thing with the franchise tag, though. You
Serious.
can tag him if you want, but how are you going to pay him?
They'll restructure. They'll figure it out. Teams always do.
Siglin, once
Rogers
again, I
is
think
gone, but
you guys have the cap
no.
space, but let's just look at cap space here. The Raiders are not exactly short themselves, and we can free up $30 million really easy by cutting players who, I mean, unless you consider Carl Nassib a profit because of his jersey sales, he's worth like $11 million, and it's all dead money this offseason.
Yeah.
And even that, the Colts are right next to the Raiders. They got $40 million in cap space. The Raiders have $39 million. I think the Broncos you are going to see do an absolute banging job in free agency. You guys got $40 million, and you guys can free up a lot more too.
And we have 2 second-round picks.
Yeah, so, I think those go to Green Bay, honestly. If we're predicting anything, I think Rodgers ends up in Denver.
Really? I say.
Really?
Something about me says new ownership. Think about who's actually in the ring for this, though. If Peyton Manning doesn't get it, and we don't get like that Denver business guy, I mean, what if somebody comes in like a Steve Ballmer? Like Steve Ballmer owns the Clippers. He's had great success. You saw him go out and be hyper aggressive in getting star players and star talent. What if you get a multi-billion-dollar owner who is willing to throw money behind this team? Like, seriously, like, what if that happens? I think Denver ownership is going to be the biggest choice here.
Yep.
But even then, Peyton Manning, you have an ownership group who's coming in. So not only do you have cap space, a new GM and a head coach coming in, but you're having the biggest franchise change of all, and that's ownership. That's going to change the complete tone of everything that the franchise is. I mean, as much as I like to shit on NFL owners, honestly, they set everything. They set the tone in your locker room. They set the way the team is ran. Like the GM, the head coach, very important day by day. But when you're talking about who swings dick in the offseason, I think it comes down to ownership. And especially when you have a new ownership group, I think no one's going to be more aggressive than Denver.
I could see that too. You know, Denver, we got a lot, and this isn't a homer, and this isn't to be a homer because I'm still pessimistic that Rodgers will end up there, but you do have the right pieces in place, okay? You got the cap space, you have the draft capital to trade him. We're, like Cole said, we're working on an ownership situation right now. Hopefully that gets resolved soon. Nathaniel Hackett, which is the Packers offensive coordinator. He has a great relationship with Rodgers. He's our front runner for head coach next to Dan Quinn right now. If we bring on Nathaniel Hackett, that could lure Rodgers there as well. And to top it off, I mean, this is kind of just a side thing, but Rodgers came out and he said that he does not want to go to a team that's rebuilding. I don't think Denver is a rebuilding franchise.
Not at all.
I think they have all the pieces to win. They just need the quarterback. And the side thing is his now wife lives in Denver, so
I'm just gonna,
dude.
I'm just gonna say Aaron Rodgers needs the 49ers. Like that's a match made perfect. I think
you guys drafted Trey Lance. You're not gonna go after
trade both of them. Trade Trey Lance,
but we had a chance at him. But I mean, like it only makes sense. We need a QB that's like loyal or not loyal, but like consistent and someone that can put the ball on a dime, and that's the QB right there.
Yep.
And then we have the talent around him on defense and on offense. I mean, Debo with the Aaron Rodgers would be scary.
Yep. Siglin, you're getting Jimmy Garoppolo. Just accept it. Jimmy G is making a case. You know, he's not the reason the Niners are winning, but he is.
He is a winning factor for us.
You could leading your team to the playoffs despite the uphill battle.
Yeah.
You know, he's proven that he can. Help take a team.
It's proven we lose when he's hurt, and then when he comes back, we start getting better. So I think it's time people start respecting our offense just as much as our defense.
The only other team I can see going in and getting Rodgers would be Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh would make sense. I think that would be freaking awesome.
Look,
it'd be super healthy for him.
Yep. You can argue Pittsburgh was solely held back by quarterback play.
I got to step
They don't really have a losing record like that often. So
hold on, we'll give Jason.
Yeah, Siglin just said that Rodgers is going to Washington. He is not. He has a no trade clause, and he just said that he's not going to a rebuilding franchise. There's no way in hell he is going to sign off on going to Washington. That's not going to happen.
They don't even have a name.
How long Stafford signed for?
Plus, also, I would love the idea of the Colts getting a premier quarterback, but also they don't have a first-round pick this year.
Okay.
Yep.
So they did make that big
Dwayne Haskins, 2022 MVP. The hot take, Tyler. Hot take.
Tyler is coming on the show next week. I did book him. I tried to get him today, but we are getting him in here next week. So Tyler's going to be jumping from the comment section on camera. So we're going to rock with the boy there.
I think a team that could draft good this year and if they make smart choices and come out on top in the playoffs next year, Chargers. Chargers have been so close to figuring out for years.
Fuck the Chargers.
And I've been watching them for years, and they've slowly been getting better and better. Then their defense started stepping up. And Chargers fans are loyal, man. So I mean, I like the Chargers' attitude when they're on the field. So I mean, I see them getting a couple pieces and literally being in the playoffs next year.
I've always had a big soft spot for the Chargers, even though they're a division rival. I like the Chargers. Eric played for him, so I kind of had to root for him there for a while. I have a few family members that are big Chargers fans too. So Chargers and Broncos fanhood run in my family. So I don't hate the Chargers.
Yeah.
I could see them Yeah, they're turning a corner.
Yeah.
They're turning into a
Yeah.
really good team.
They're where Buffalo was like 2 years ago.
Yep.
Just gonna add a small note to the screen here.
I think someone that's been on.
I do hate the Chargers. If it's not obvious here,
I think someone that can
putting
be.
this right above my head. It doesn't matter. They can have Justin Herbert. They can get all the talent in the world. Guess what? They're still going to be, I don't know, a 9-8 team. Fuck
Yep.
them. Just kidding. No, for real though, I do think the Chargers. They should have been in the playoffs. Let's be honest here. They were more. I said this last week. They were a more talented team than the Raiders. They were last week. I think we had momentum. I think we played a better game. I think we took better. Love you, Nathan Miller. I talk so much smack on the Chargers, and he comes in every single week. I do gotta say we love Nate Miller, our resident Chargers fan here. Also, shout out to everybody who's waiting on cards. I've been terrible about that here recently, so we're gonna get some of those out. But yeah, shout out to all of our fans. We got Weston and Trent, who are huge Lions fans. Obviously, Siglin, Colts. Team Malt repping the Jags too. And then obviously Mama Sita here, my mother, is a huge Vikings fan, so we're just gonna give some fan love here. But
I was actually gonna bring them up.
who?
I was gonna say they're another team that's figuring it out. They're getting close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the Chargers,
I
I think, need to figure it out ASAP because there's correlating success here recently with teams who pay quarterbacks less money, whether
Yeah.
it's on a rookie deal or whether you're on a team favorable deal. If you pay your quarterback a lot of money, chances are you're not winning a Super Bowl. That's just what the math says. So I think if you are the Chargers, you need to take advantage in the next 3 years. Well, you do have Herbert on his third, fourth year, and then obviously his fifth year option. I think unless you sign the extension before, then you pick that up, obviously. But still, I don't know. I think the Chargers, they need to capitalize ASAP. But the AFC West right now is scary because I think all the teams are either in good position going forward or you're the Kansas City Chiefs and still in the playoffs. So.
The Chargers, the one thing that they really need to be focusing on right now is getting some young talent prepared for Herbert because he's thriving. Herbert's doing really well, but he also has Austin Eckler, who's an incredibly talented running back, but he's also 27 years old. He has Keenan Allen, who's probably one of the best wide receivers in the league right now, but he's also getting up there in age and towards the end of his contract. Mike Williams could be gone next year. I mean, we could be looking at a Chargers team that in 2 years has, you got a Packers situation before Devontae Adams, like where you have one great receiving weapon, but outside of that, you're just lacking talent to help your quarterback succeed. And so the Chargers need to be thinking, Joey Bosa, obviously, he's great. They got the defensive side figured out there, but they need to be trying to find some talent now. That way, Justin Herbert's not left struggling in a couple of years when he doesn't have any weapons left.
Ooh, Tyler Young says Jimmy's going to Pittsburgh here.
I could see that.
Siglin says, what do you think about Jimmy G going to Washington, Jace? What do you think about that? I think that's a very real possibility for them to get a rebuilding style quarterback like Jimmy.
I think you got three. I think the three teams that I have Jimmy G going to is Washington, or actually four teams really. I got Washington, Pittsburgh, Colts, or Texans. I think those are the four teams that you could see making a push for him.
I don't know why I see him in a Carolina outfit.
I could see that too. I didn't think
I don't
about
know
Carolina.
why.
That's a good.
I don't know why, but it just seems right.
Carolina keeps getting forgotten about. Both last off season and this year. They're still very quarterback needy.
I have a feeling Watson ends up in Carolina, man. I think that's where he goes. I think that's Deshaun's next stage.
I could see it.
Yep.
And it's kind of been talked around. So.
Yep.
Googling how many massage parlors.
What's even
are
going
in the
on
Carolina
with
area.
this? What's even going on with this cases, though? Like, have they even said anything?
A couple
yet?
of them, he settled one. A couple of them have dropped their cases. It's starting to get pretty quiet on that front.
Until 24 more pop up.
Here's my hot take on the situation. I think at the end of the day, you got to look at this for what it is. Worst case scenario, Deshaun Watson is a huge perv, and we've let Ben Roethlisberger play 18 years in the NFL or 17, whatever it is. So I think he's going to get a fine. I think maybe you throw him get him suspended, but also at the same time, like if this is just an accusation job, if this is just nothing more than a smear campaign, what's going on with the Texans?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this was buzzed up to be 20 plus accusations. He settled one outside of court. I think that always kind of admits a little bit of guilt. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like, let's just take it for what it is. Deshaun Watson's just someone who got money hungry, really pervy, and he's going to play in the NFL again. Yeah, I hope it's not for my team. Obviously, I hope not, but he's still I dare to say, top 5 quarterback from what we last saw.
Yeah, he was.
And whatever team he goes to, whether the locker room likes it or not, he's going to get his redemption chance. He's going to go ball somewhere out. And honestly, if you are the Panthers and you have first-round picks and you also have someone in Christian McCaffrey who you can dangle in front of the Texans and maybe save yourself some future draft capital, it's not unheard of. As far as teams who don't have a plethora of picks, because I think, honestly, if you're talking teams who could go out and get a quarterback this offseason, the Eagles, I think, could be a shocker. Whether they've sold in on Jalen Hurts or not, with 3 first-round picks, they have the ammunition to go out. But I think Carolina's probably the team who is also next to Denver, about a quarterback away.
Yep.
You don't really have a lot of holes out there. The receiving core is good and young. I think Chuba proved to be a decent backup this year, and I think Christian McCaffrey's too injured to pay him a premium at running back.
DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of talent on that team.
No, yeah, sorry, yeah, I meant DJ Moore, not
I could even see Watson going to Redskins or Washington. They get their new name here soon.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
we'll know here soon.
Taryn, shout out here to the boy we are a fan of. Someone we're showing disrespect to. What about Gardner Minshew?
Yeah, that's
Does
true.
he go somewhere and start? I think he deserves it.
I don't
personally.
think he's going to go anywhere and start. I think I like the stash. I think he's I think he's a slightly above average quarterback. The only place I could really see him taking over a starting job right now would be Houston. Maybe
True.
Pittsburgh. I could see Pittsburgh. But
Pittsburgh, too, I could see that.
he's kind of on that Taylor Heineke level. I think he's a little bit better than Taylor Heineke, but he could end up being just a career backup.
Yeah, I could see him actually as a
I don't think
backup for
anybody's going to
Minnesota.
pursue. I don't see any teams actively pursuing him to be.
Yeah, more of a fill-in
starter.
role.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're getting you till we figure out.
Listen,
who's
Gardner
our number
Minshew
one
is a
pick.
trailer park god, and you will respect him as such, okay?
Yep. The trailer park god. Yep.
He's a trailer park god. That mullet is
That's
straight from a
that's gotta
Kentucky
be your
waterfall.
sign at his game.
Yep.
Trailer
I
park
love
god.
Gardner
And
Minshew,
then
man.
Just put a
He's
mustache
awesome.
with shades.
Yep.
Everyone's gonna sell mustaches with shades.
Well, and I kind of just brought this up in the comment section too. Outside of like the star quarterbacks, how many teams do you think actually go for like this good backup and then a rookie in this class? Because we have 5 or 6 quarterbacks who could potentially go in the first round. So I mean, what's the chances of like Gardner Minshew getting paired up with like a Malik Willis somewhere? Like, Denver goes out, they cut their quarterbacks, they cut their loss on Drew Lock, they get rid of Bridgewater,
Yeah.
and then you see him bring in an experienced backup like Gardner Minshew, and then maybe a contrary quarterback like a Malik Willis. You have Gardner who's more of improv. Malik's very much like, I call him watered down Lamar Jackson. He's not quite the runner, but I think he's more dynamic of a passer coming out of college than Lamar was, and I really like Malik's upside.
I keep circling back around to them, and I'm going to bring them up again because there were reports coming out saying that they're not going to pursue a veteran, that they're actually going to look to the draft, and that was the Steelers. It was I think it was either last week or the week before, a report came out saying that they're not going to be pursuing any veterans in the offseason. So I could definitely see that happening, and obviously pursuing Minshew would be pursuing a veteran, but you know what I mean, like the big names, the Watson, the Wilson, the Rodgers, something like that. I could see the Steelers bringing Minshew in and then, cutting their losses with, I'm blanking his name. Sorry, help me out, Cole.
For who?
Steelers quarterback that sucked ass.
Dwayne Haskins.
And what's the other rookie?
Mason Rudolph?
Yes,
Rudolph,
Rudolph,
that's
thank
what
you.
it is.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
see them
yeah,
cutting
the
their
N-word
losses.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I could see that happening with Pittsburgh. Besides that, the Texans, they just drafted Davis Mills, so I don't see that happening with them. Obviously, Jags have Lawrence.
I think Davis Mills deserves a shot next year.
I do too.
Yeah.
He proved himself. The Giants, I could see the Giants moving on from they got one more year of Daniel Jones. I could see them drafting a rookie this year and seeing what their options are at the end of next year. And then obviously Washington's always in the mix for that too. They can't ever seem to figure the quarterback position
Well,
out.
and the Giants did just pick up Joe Schoen from Buffalo and a
Yep.
hire. They are the first team this offseason to kind of break that seal and hire a GM. Now, obviously, the head coach search, I think, goes on, and you get someone who's not a special teams coordinator from a broken coaching tree.
Yep.
Personal opinion there, but I think the Giants, God, I mean, I don't know who's more heartbreaking, just because the Giants won a Super Bowl 11 years ago, so let's not act like it's been forever since they've had success, but you're talking about New York. God, they're just the worst big sports city.
That team
So
hasn't
LA
been
gets
good
some
since
success,
like
but I
Cruz and
mean,
them.
Well,
Dude.
The helmet catch.
It was Tom Coughlin, man. Ever since he left, they fell off a
Yeah.
cliff. I think that was a statement to how
I-
great of
I
a coach
think-
Coughlin was.
They need to find somebody that builds a new culture. Like you got to have that young, that young hype vibe, and just roll with it and see what you get. That's why I think that's why I think a lot of the coaches are becoming younger now. You're seeing younger and younger coaches out here every year. They're willing to make the fake punts and stuff at times where everyone thinks they're crazy, but yet you get it. It's game, and stuff like that. So
I have a kind of a, I'm going to call this a little bit more of a bolder take, not crazy bold, but kind of a team I think nobody's really been talking about when it comes to quarterbacks, and that's the Saints. They brought in Jameis Winston. Obviously, he got hurt, but he wasn't necessarily balling out either.
No.
When you have a quarterback that you're not letting throw, he's only throwing
didn't
for
they have
100.
Bridgewater too?
That was a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
But Sean Payton was holding him back because he was so afraid of. He's very turnover prone. So you look at Jameis Winston, he's not throwing for more than 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
That's not going to get you. That's not going to get it done. And then Taysom Hill comes in, and I like Taysom Hill, but he's more of a gadget player than anything. He's not an answer at the quarterback position
he's your
either.
use check. In my eyes.
Yeah.
That's how I see him. I'd use him as like a fullback.
Yeah. So I could see the Saints looking at different options this offseason as well.
I'll stop you right there because Tyler in the comment section literally 1 minute ago said Saints go out and they get Russell Wilson.
Wow.
I could see that.
Also, my mom's attracted to Matt LaFleur, so that's also random. Love you, Mom. Thanks for throwing that in there. You are an absolute gem. Never change. Apparently, all right, Mom, I want you to look at the coaches from the 2013 coaching staff. Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Get back to me in the comments.
Jesus.
I'll throw them up on screen here. 2013 Redskins coaching staff. Let's do it.
Oh, my God.
Yep. For our female fans out
that
there,
is
this is not just a male-based show. We are all for the boys and all for the girls.
Fuck one, marry one, kill one.
Yeah, we're gonna play fuck one, marry one, kill one. Let's go.
Oh my God. The Saints I think are a team to watch during the offseason. I think they could shake things up between now and next season.
See, I see them just being a pocket pass quarterback. You get them a pocket pass quarterback, and I think things can go good. But that's where I feel like a lot of people wanted for us was like a QB we can put in there, like Hill, where you're going to have that one play, throw him completely off. And they got to study for two QBs at the same time. So
Gardner Minshew could be a good fit.
See, I was thinking
New
that,
Orleans.
or
Yeah.
I kind of even thought like, do the Lions want to let go of their QB and give him a shot, or even put him there because it's more of a battling situation in like camp.
Cole, move it up higher.
You know
the
what I'm
subtitles
saying?
are blocking the picture.
Yeah, no, I got you in there.
I think the biggest underdog of the season for next year will be the Jets. Jets have started figuring things out a little bit more. I think if they can just get their QB situation down a little better and establish a running game a little better, they're going to be at least like fighting to get in the playoffs next year.
Yep.
All right,
I
boys,
don't
we
see
do have
Falcons
some
coming
answers on the
back
fuck, marry,
anytime.
kill. Tyler with his chest says fuck Sean McVay, marry Kyle, kill Matt.
That's because McVay.
With his
Is
chest.
it
He
because
says say it. He says fuck Sean, say it in your chest, McVay. Oh my
Not
God.
the only thing that's going to be happening to your chest.
is it because McVay looks like soft and feminine? Is that why, Tyler?
I would probably marry Sean McVay just because he's creative and he's young.
So you're saying Kyle Shanahan?
You know what, though? I think life has already fucked Kyle Shanahan enough, so I'm not going to do that. Because, 2 Super Bowl losses from behind. So, yeah, fuck Matt LaFleur, kill Kyle Shanahan. Sorry, Kyle.
No, I feel that.
Weston says you got to fuck Kyle, marry McKay, and murder Matt. No, 100% because Sean is buff. Sean is buff. And also, have you seen his house, though? Just saying.
Hey, but I like
Sean McVay's house
I
is
like
dope,
Kyle.
dude.
He did buy a Lil Wayne concert after we lost that Super Bowl. So
Yeah, let's talk about Matt LaFleur's glow up, though, because Matt LaFleur went from, oh, okay, I'll have your daughter home by 10 to, yeah, she's staying at my house tonight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur is one person, and trust me, I know the how much a beard can help you. Yeah, Matt LaFleur definitely needed to grow a beard. So, Sean will trade you to the Lions for love. I know, Sean. Yeah, okay, maybe you fuck Sean McVay then. Maybe he's not marriage material. Maybe you can't commit to Sean. Maybe Matt's more your commitment type, and Sean's the fun college fling you had that you think back on, and you're like, huh.
Damn, I fucked it.
Alrighty, boys. Yeah. So I think this offseason, who do you guys think? We'll kind of wrap this up here, but who do you guys think is most likely to just draft a quarterback here?
Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a good take.
I think so. I think Atlanta,
I think it's
Detroit.
time
I
they
think
do it.
since they're building young and
Yeah.
this draft class favors.
They still got the receivers though, so if you go out there and get somebody that can at least throw the ball, I mean, you're still in figuring it out. So you got all summer, go get somebody. It's a good time.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just kind of running through everybody in my head here. I could see the Browns drafting somebody.
Yep.
Hands down.
Just to compete with Baker. Obviously, the Steelers, I think, are the number one team. I got the Steelers and the Falcons are the two teams I can see drafting a quarterback more than anybody. I can also see the Giants doing it, Washington doing it. Bucks. Who did Bucks draft last year? They already drafted somebody.
Kyle Trask.
That's right. Yep,
Kyle
they got
Trask. That's my boy.
They got the Trask. Yep. So yeah, those are probably the biggest teams that I got. You know, if Russell decides to move on,
that's
obviously
what I was just staring
Seahawks.
at them like
Seahawks
if
could
he
draft
leaves,
somebody.
Who are they picking?
Yep. Yep.
This offseason,
And then
I
if
think
you
is going
guys
to be
get
one of the
somewhere,
most
you keep him
interesting
up.
we've seen.
Because I keep trying to think of where
Yeah,
I see him
we got-
going.
we
and
got
it's
one more-
It's got to be literally like a competing job.
We got another year with Locke on his rookie deal. Locke will be a Bronco next year, whether he's a backup or a starter. We have one. We're not going to let him go on his rookie deal. But Teddy's gone. I don't think we keep Teddy. I think we let him go.
Honestly, I'm sorry, Cole. I really want to see Jim Harbaugh end up with the Bears. Like, I think it's just a match made in heaven. You got
Staying
a team known for their
Michigan down
defense
to Illinois.
and
I could see
a
it.
running QB. He worked with Kaepernick. It only makes sense. I see that happening and going really well.
I could see that. Yeah. Man, Harbaugh's such a beast.
He is.
When he took over the 49ers, you guys were, what, 4-12 the year before that? And then all of a
Yeah,
sudden you
we
were just
had
Super
about
Bowl
2
contenders
horrible
like that.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had the talent. Like, we had Vernon Davis. We had Bowman, Willis. Like, our defense was scary. And then you had just the talent as offense. So, and then we got Bolden in them from the Ravens, and everyone was just, like, merging so good that it was more just who wanted it back then. And
Absolutely.
that's why I always say play like you've been there before.
Yeah, buddy.
But, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, that team came together great. But that's why I like him with the running QB. He knows what he's doing with the running QB offense. He knows what he's doing with a defense that can shut down a run. So, I mean, that's just the start you need for any of these teams struggling right now. And with the Bears, man, they have the QB already. And you have the team. I see him actually making him a competitor for a playoff run.
Yep.
All right, so
I
apparently
don't
we're
see
going
him
to do fuck,
getting
marry,
past
kill
that
every game
their
now.
first year.
for the
I see him
female
getting
fans.
3 years. Give him 3 years.
Yeah.
Give Harbaugh 3 years and give him some like leeway in who he wants to piece the team together. And
I think the Bears are a great fit for Harbaugh.
but I do agree, Cole. I could see him actually going with you guys too, because man, you got some youth receiving core. But I think I could see Baker staying, but they really got to work on that offensive line because Baker's not getting enough time.
Yeah.
I mean, I get he's making bad decisions too, but when he's constantly moving, he can't run like that. He's not a running QB like that because he don't have time to make the decisions he needs to.
Yeah, you got to
So-
be careful in how hard you pass judgment on a quarterback. You really have to look at the whole situation. And when you don't have an offensive line, when you're averaging, I actually looked this up yesterday, 2.1 seconds to throw the ball every time you hike it. I toss you a football until you have 2 seconds
Yeah.
to make a decision and tell me how good of a quarterback you're going to be. I mean, that's and that 2.1 seconds is the time from when he snaps when the
Yeah,
ball snapped
they're already-
to when he's either pressured or he has to get rid of it.
Yeah, I watched his last couple games. He had no time in the pocket. I felt actually bad for Baker, and I actually been liking the commercials lately. So.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I feel like everybody just turned their back on him. You know, last season he brought the Browns to the divisional game and almost beat the Chiefs to go to the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
and then this year he struggles because his offensive line regresses, and all of a sudden he's the worst quarterback ever. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I haven't even looked up their stats for the offensive line, but I bet you it's not even in the first 20.
You know what? I would. If we don't get Rodgers, I would take Baker in Denver.
Honestly, even if Baker left, what do you think about Baker going to Steelers? Because I can see he can sling a ball.
He's not going to division level. Yeah.
I see Steelers drafting somebody where he can run. It's a running QB. It's going to be like a Watson. It's
Yep.
literally going to be like a Watson, a guy that can sling the ball with accuracy but still make a running play.
Yep.
I just see their offense kind of changing completely. They're going to still be a strong defense, but with a more creative offense next year.
Yep.
I think Baker's someone who goes to honestly a new city and performs better. One of my things that I would love to see happen for Cleveland and Houston is they do a quarterback swap. They trade some picks. This is really gaining a lot of steam with the whole, like just Bleacher Report, ESPN. Like a lot of these sites are really starting to get behind this, and honestly, I can see it. I can see Baker just going somewhere because, dude, he's been injured. He's in the cold. And we got to remember, bro, he's played his college and high school ball in Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like, so sometimes guys just might need to play in the warm weather. And there's,
Yeah.
I mean, you can dog him for it if you want, but I still think Baker can be that dude. But I also think he's been the guy that made us think that OBJ was trash. So, and also shout out to Tyler on the Fuck, Marry, Kill. He said that's the range of emotions you get with Jimmy Garoppolo every single game is sometimes you want to marry him, sometimes you just want to kind of hook up with him, and sometimes you just want to kill him.
I feel
Weston
you,
says
Tyler.
Boomer Sooner, and then I'm going to say what's up, baby, because Alyssa jumped in the chat. So it says I'm the best looking one on the show, which is always true. So, and yeah, so your sister-in-law says hi, Jace.
Hey.
No, I felt really bad because it got to the point where Big Ben couldn't throw more than 5 yards. And I got some Steeler fans in my family, so I feel bad for you guys too. But they had to watch Ben just throw little 5-yard slants, 5 to the sideline. Like the biggest play would be 15 yards, and most their yards are made. They're like they want yak yards. They want yards after catch, but they're not getting them because you're only throwing 5 yards, or you're doing a screen pass that don't work. And stuff like that. So I think they really got limited this year. So it's big props to if Ben was like a couple years back where his arm is still there, I think they'd still be in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with Claypool's inexperience and stuff like that, they still got a lot to figure out. So I see him going after a QB. I see him going after some defenders, and then I see him going after maybe some offensive linemen.
For sure.
Alrighty,
Well,
boys.
boys,
Any other takes here?
Nope. Kickoffs in 2 hours. That was a
No.
good show, man. That was a
Yeah.
good time. That was a
good.
good old. That was like an hour and 40 minutes. I think that was a good
I think we
hour
hit
and a half.
Yeah.
That was a good run.
We
That
went
was
through
fun.
everyone.
Yep. I think it's time to go enjoy some football today, boys.
Yes.
Thank you,
Some
everybody who
food.
joined in the chat. You guys are awesome. Loved.
That's
how
always the best
engaging
part about
everything
these, in
was.
my
Yeah,
opinion, is
thanks
just
for
getting
chiming
everybody
in,
in the
how
everyone.
chat.
engaging everything was. Yep.
Go Niners.
Yep.
Go Niners.
All right. Oh, do we have to cut this off? I'm just really starting to get a lot of love in the chat now. Must be really slow. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Cole's a
Love you,
whore
baby.
for comment love, so
Yeah.
just sprinkle it on him.
It's
Okay,
like,
from like one person, I've been sitting here like getting it from everybody else, and I'm like,
Yep.
all right.
it's like our video vlogs back then, Cole,
Yep.
when we were doing To Be Honest video vlogs.
Oh, bro, I remember. Yeah, this is where it really started. Is when Chris and I were in the room, and we'd everybody be like, "Yo, do it." To be honest, and Chris and I were like, "Let's just do videos." And so we do like massive videos.
I know, but we had so many people that it was going for forever. Or we'd nonstop have to like do another video.
Yep.
Kara,
No,
why are
you
you
guys are
snoozing?
awesome.
Kara's taking a nap right now. Shout out, Kara. Taking a nap because we didn't talk about the Bears enough. Is that why? Also, shout out Kara, the only person in the family who
sorry.
bought me Raiders gear because y'all are a bunch of Broncos fans.
Carol logs in right when we're like, all right, we're heading out.
Yep.
I will
Thank you, Kara.
I
Thank
will
you.
bring some Bear stuff for some fans to like
Yep.
earn or something for the show. I'll bring some stuff for you, Cole. I got
Yeah, we
some
gotta
just
get-
sitting in my room.
We got to get a massive show for championship week. Let's
Yeah.
just fill the whole entire basement. Everybody will
That'll
just
be
be
fun.
shoulder to shoulder.
Right?
Yep, let's do it.
A little
right.
All right.
Have a good day, guys.
have a good
Let's
one,
enjoy
guys.
some football.
for
Thanks.
seeing-
And to you.